Trent. How are you?
I'm wonderful, James. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining me. For those of you who are watching, I am talking to Trent Blanchard, continuing the series from your IV video series on balance. But before we start, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Trent, and then we're going to go ahead and get started with some questions. So for over 20 years, Trent Blanchard has shared words of encouragement and motivation with others through his private coaching practice, in recovery centers, in corporate offices, and in high schools around the country. He has a degree in human resource management, is an ordained interfaith minister, has a master's degree in spiritual psychology, and is a certified addiction and anger management specialist. Now, you may have heard him on his radio talk show, Ask the Life Coach, where he assisted people in dealing with life and its challenges. He currently serves as a consciousness coach, interfaith minister, professional organizer, and public speaker through his company, Blanchard Consulting. But that's not all, folks. He is the author of a new book, Triple A's for the Soul, Your Pathway to Personal Freedom. So, Trent, this really is a pleasure to talk to someone with all of these accolades and experience about balance. I think the people that are going to be watching, I'm sure, will get something very meaningful from our conversation.
Great. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to speak about this topic. I know a lot of people, certainly people in my practice, have had issues with balance. So it's great to talk to you today. Thanks for having me.
Great. Well, through these series, I usually narrow down to 3 questions because I like for the videos to be bite-sized and digestible for the viewer. So we'll go ahead and get started with the first question pertaining to balance. When it comes to life and love, can we really have it all? Why or why not?
Great question. And my response to any question that's ever asked of me is, well, what do you think? Do you believe you can? Because I'm a firm believer that we are the creator of our experience. And if we have limiting beliefs about what we can and can't have, then guess what? We're going to get it. So one of the most important things that I walk my clients through, or actually quite frankly anyone in life, is to look at the beliefs that they hold in their consciousness and to see, are those beliefs in fact really working for you and what you're wanting to have out of life? It can be a very daunting process, as you can imagine, but I like to think and I like to talk about it in ways that it's a labor of love, that you're identifying what those beliefs are that are getting in the way of having truly all that you want. I believe, my belief is that I can have everything. I can have everything that I'm truly wanting in life.
Right. That is fantastic. That is great. So, in other words, you do believe you can have it all if you dare to think about what's getting in your way, what barriers, and dare to come at it from a positive point of view.
Well, a positive point of view, or even better, a point of view that works for you. You know, when you were sharing that with me, James, one of the most important things, again, that we need to identify is what does having it all look like to you? And it's so important that we look at our beliefs and identify, is having it all something that is meaningful to me? Is, having a relationship, is having a home, is having a successful business what's really important to me? Or am I simply echoing the beliefs that my society says that I should be holding as having it all, or my parents, or my spouse, or my children? So you can have it all. I do believe you can, but it's really important to identify what's important to you. Yeah. What does having it all look like in creating the perfect picture of what you want, you and me, not what my family or society or anyone else is saying that we should have? That word "should's" there, which is not necessarily the most healthiest words for us to have. That word "should."
Yeah, defining it for yourself. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
The second question is, you really have defined what balance is, or having it all is. So what is your definition of work-life balance? And what I'd really like to hear is, like, from your point of view, what do you feel works for you?
I am very, very, very fortunate in my life, James, that I do what I love to do. Having these kind of conversations, I just love it. It it toots my horn. It makes me happy. So I really feel that if you truly find someone in your life that you'd love to do, that it's not going to feel like work.
Yeah.
But in any area of your life, you always need to make sure that you have that balance. And, the definition of really balance is an even distribution of weight that will keep you upright and steady, right? So I always need to look at my life, and I need to take what I call a time inventory to really see where am I spending the majority of my time, and is that working for me? Is that making me happy? Is that making me content? Because if I take and I always have my clients do this, I have them take a 3-day time inventory where literally for 3 days they're writing down everything that they're doing.
Oh, that's great.
End of that 3-day inventory, then we traditionally we sit down. I always think it's important to sit down with somebody that's outside of here, outside of your home, to assist you in looking through that, because then I ask, well, is that really the best use of your time? Is the best use of your time? Is that bringing you joy, that thing that you're doing? Can it be delegated? Can it be put to another time? I used to have a client that used to do laundry 4 times a week, and yet she never had any time to do things that she really enjoyed doing. So I said, why aren't you doing it once a week? I'm sure you have plenty of clothes. And simple little shift that, by the way, she never even thought of, because that was her upbringing. That she could only do it once a week instead of 4 times a week. So that little shift was not little at all. That gifted her with hours of time for her to do the things that really, really, really brought her joy. And isn't that our journey on this planet, to find things that bring us joy? Because if I'm joyful, then I'm going to affect you, because we truly are all interrelated.
Yes. I love that you promote people taking charge of their life. They're going through the motions and actions that are draining them of energy. Mm-hmm. Just sit down for a moment, take a step back, look at the big picture, assess what you are doing, and define what brings you joy, what you are enjoying, and that is draining your energy, limit it down in your week. And I think that is a tactical, action that people can do. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm all about practical application of spiritual life principles. Listen, we can all go to the mountaintop and meditate until we're blue in the face, but then we have to come down here and deal with somebody on the bus or on the street. It's all about practicality, and how can you take the principles of life, the laws of life, and apply them into your life and make your life happier and more joyful and a better place to live. So again, we affect other people that we come in contact with.
I love it. I love it. The last question on balance, and I think you've answered this a little bit with the sitting down and taking an assessment of your day and your week. Yep. But let's just go from a broad perspective. So what would you say to someone if they came to you and said, Trent, I need more balance in my life? What would you say to them?
Well, again, the first thing I would do is I would say, what are you doing? What's your current activity? And do those activities bring you joy? Are they things that need to be done? Again, it's really about where are you focusing your time, and is that working for you? There really is no such thing as a positive or a negative experience, or a positive or negative task. It really is what you're applying to it, and the label and the judgment that you're applying to it. So, looking at the things that you're doing, if you're spending way too much hours, focus on work. And as affecting your personal life, then let's look at that. Let's not judge it. Let's look at it as good information that one area of your life is not working. That's because you're probably focusing too much time on it. And let's see what we can do to make a shift. And by the way, it doesn't need to be a large shift. It can be a minor shift. If you're working, 10 hours a day. Yeah. Week, then make Wednesday your 8-hour day. Right? So it's giving yourself 2 hours. It's very practical. And then maybe start two times a week. The reality is, work is going to still be there. Yeah. And that small shift could make tremendous change in your life experience.
I love it. When you were talking, I was thinking about there's this project at work that no one wants to even belong to. They don't want to do it. They don't want to think about it. They don't want to be associated with it. And one of the leaders of the project said, what would be beneficial is if everyone changed the perception of what it is to belong with this project.
Right.
When you were saying if everyone just decided to rule out that judgment and do that mind shift, it would make things a little better. And I think when we all are approaching life, we're all approaching the things that we may not want to do or may be causing us a little bit of drain or energy. We have control. We have the ability to change our mind to make it better and work for us.
Without a doubt, because the reality is, James, that life is how we perceive it,
Yeah.
life is how we interpret it, and life is how we judge it. And so if you don't like your interpretations, your perceptions, and your judgments, then shift your mind, shift your thoughts, and your life will change. It really is as simple as that.
Yeah.
It might sound daunting, but it really isn't. And that's why, I love working with clients, because I temporarily am assisting them in looking at their life and their experience a little differently until they have the tools and until they've strengthened that muscle that they can then do it for themselves. I really do believe my role on this planet is to help people do that, because, the status and the state of our world is simply a manifestation of what's all going on inside each and every one of us individually.
That's
and so
true.
If my neighbor, if my best friend can make that small shift to doing things that really are working for them, then our world will one by one change, and it'll be a different place to live.
Trent, you wrapped this interview up so beautifully. Thank you so much for your time. For those of you who have watched this, you can hear more from Trent by just going to his Facebook page or going to his website, but also keeping a lookout for, I'm going to say it again, Triple A's for the Soul, Your Pathway to Personal Freedom, his new book. Trent, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
James, thank you, and thank you for doing this wonderful work. I certainly appreciate it.
Thank you. I will talk to you soon, I'm sure.
Okay. All right. Take care. Bye.